What's going on? This is the Broke Genius, and welcome to the life of a broke genius. Welcome to my channel.
What's going on? What's going on is late night, and I decided to give things a little break. I wanted to talk about some things, and I was thinking, what should I talk about? Definitely don't want to talk about social interactions. Social interactions with other people is just kind of like, no, I'm not talking about that. I'll listen to it a little bit, but not really trying to talk about it. Not really even trying to listen to it too much from other people right now. Just not in the mood to listen to social interactions. Okay, how people are socially interacting, or problems with it. I'm just not the sociologist today. Okay. That being said, I mentioned that I'm into cars. Okay, I actually am more into cars than I am real estate, than I am to trading. Been in the car since I was a youth. My uncle introduced me into uh, working on cars. Used to help him out when I was a young lad. So that's something that I've been doing for a while. I did auto mechanics in high school, and I've had quite a few cars. And one of the things that I am planning on getting into is the car business. A guy I used to work with, he actually has a custom shop. He does customization, BMW customization. Basically, he puts superchargers in BMWs. He repairs them. He customizes other features of BMWs. Real, high level guy. But that being said, I just want to talk about, just basically briefly, about cars. Some of you are younger. Some of you already are seasoned vets as far as cars is concerned. Already, been driving for years. I've been driving since I was about 14 myself. And, basically, yeah, I'm definitely a car enthusiast. Some people are not really into cars. I am. It's, just one of those things that I've always been into cars. Most guys are into cars, typically. That's typically how that works. So basically, that is what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, before I get into actually what I was going to be talking about as far as foreign cars and domestic cars, I want to give you some advice, that some of the things that I do when I choose, because primarily I get into used cars. I buy used cars. I mean, I am very frugal when I want to be, which is most times. Sometimes to my own detriment a lot of times. But I'm very frugal, so I always look for used cars. Primarily, I look for mechanic specials. So, and basically cars that nobody really hardly wants, because they either might be a stick shift, you know, they might have some type of flaws, because for whatever reason they um basically might have some type of like body damage even. I follow a few guys. I'm gonna put those links on the end of this video. I'm gonna give you some links of some people that I follow as far as car guys, as far as in my sub list of people who I follow. But basically, when it comes to cars, you want to know a few things. Basically, you want to know about primarily the engine and the transmission. So when it comes to cars, rule of thumb, any car that is a running car, meaning you can start the key, turn the ignition on, and it'll drive in gear down the street, up the street, down the street, and back. That is what you would consider a running car. A running car is worth at least $500. Okay, I repeat, at least $500, right? And you got everything above, anything better than that above, I just recently purchased last year, a little bit more than last year. I purchased a vehicle, 2003 Mercedes ML 350 for $750. Actually, not even $750, $700. And when people see my car, they are surprised that I got this car for this price because, well, one, I, fixed it up somewhat, and I also got it painted. So I spent $700 for the car. Overall, I've put about $2,300 into it over a period of time. I had to upgrade the tint because I wanted to, like the front, I wanted to make it slightly tinted. It wasn't completely tinted, but slightly tinted. And I had to repair the audio system because the wires were basically, the amp had to be bypassed. They had to bypass the amp because amp was no good, and I had to basically get an audio customization shop to bypass the amp. They had to rewire the entire car. It took them several hours to do it. I think I spent about $400 and something for them to rewire the car, all of the speakers and everything like that. And they hooked it up to a new radio. Actually, the radio that I had, okay, no amp was installed. It's just I used the amp that's in the radio. Now, the beautiful thing about this car is the radio I had in it, the factory radio, Mercedes-Benz radio, it worked. I put it on eBay for about $150. I sold it for $150. So I really could technically be like, well, I didn't even spend $700 for the car because I sold the radio for $150 on eBay because I just actually did it for a test. I was not sure because the radio never worked. It came on, but it never worked, right? I didn't hear any sound. So what I did was I put it on eBay under the notion that if it didn't work, I would just give a refund just to see if it worked, right? I sold it. The person was like, "Thank you very much. I knew it was working." So made a little money. So the $150 that I basically used for, whatever. I literally can say I only paid $550 for the car, because the radio itself, I sold it, that came with the car, for $150 on eBay. So this car is probably the best deal car that I've ever had in my life, because it's got 275 horsepower, V6. It's a truck, so I can haul light material to medium material. I can fold the seats back. I literally could live in the back of that car, because it's enough space for me to be not really comfortable. I would have to make it comfortable, but it's enough space in the back where you can you could be in the car, and you can, I don't know, I'm not gonna make this 18 plus, but you can get the picture of what can be done in the back seat. Let's just say that with the chairs folded down. But mainly I just haul stuff whenever I need to. And pretty much, yeah, it is good on the snow. It's not the best car that I've had in the snow, because I've had 4-wheel drive SUVs, and it's got a few flaws, such as that I would need to get looked at, but overall the vehicle, very, very solid workhorse of a vehicle. It's got over 220,000, probably 30,000 miles at this point. I picked a pretty good car, but I'm gonna tell you some tips that will help you kind of get your car to last longer when you get it, and then things to also look for. I'm gonna go back to what to look for again. Like I said, you want to check the engine and the transmission. Basically, when the car starts, you basically want to check to see if it runs. And then another thing is, you can't look at cars like, oh, it better work, and it's a crap shot. Well, what I mean by that is, it's a luck of the draw. You gotta look at things from the perspective of, you're taking a risk. You're taking a risk. It's not a guarantee when you buy a used car that it works, other than if you buy a guaranteed, for example, if you buy a used car, you can buy a warranty package. If it fits a certain criteria, you can get a warranty package. That's why a lot of times women buy used cars or newer cars at a dealership. And the reason why they do it is because they want that warranty. People don't know that you can buy warranty services without the dealer being involved. You can just, I worked in IT, and I worked on projects where it was a warranty company that sold car warranties. It was an office, somewhere up north in Illinois, that, they sold warranties. They, process warranties. It was a call center. And yeah, it's a big business, actually. I get calls all the time on my phone for them trying to sell me a warranty. But yeah, that's one way you can do it. If you're not too savvy, you could just pay for a warranty service after you buy a car. Make sure that the car fits the criteria, because it has to be a certain year. It can't be anywhere older than so many years, and then it can't be over a particular mileage, or the warranty company might not be able to input that on any type of warranty policy. But I don't necessarily do that because I'm very experienced and I'm a risk taker and I kind of know what to look for. I mean, basically, let's say when you go look for a car, you want to hear first that it's how it starts up. You know, when it starts up, it pretty much that's a sign that it can go through the process and the engine actually works. The car starts and it starts up the engine. It consistently runs. That's a good sign. Okay. Now, another thing is when you look for a car, it's pretty good. You want to bring a light. One thing about cars and real estate, ladies and gentlemen, you want to bring a high beam flashlight whenever you go look for a car, okay? And also when you go look for a house, you want to bring a high beam, the highest beam flashlight that you possibly can afford. Because you're going to want to look under the car and look and see if there's any wet spots. You're going to want to see if there's any wet spots. If you see also anything dripping, not condensation, like in the summertime, cars drip water because of condensation from the AC unit. Now, that is normal. But when you see any fluid, okay, any dark fluid, any like red fluid, pink fluid, any like green type fluid, that's an indication that there is some leaks or some holes or cracks inside the car's engine primarily, or in the transmission. Okay, the pink is transmission. The green usually is radiator fluid, and the black or dark spot is oil. Okay, when you see any of those leaking, that is a telltale sign that is something messed up. And that also gives you some negotiation room to this car. Okay, and I'm going to get to that. But after you do that, you want to get in the car if you can. A lot of times you can't get in the car. I bought cars at the auctions. I bought quite a few cars at the auctions. They ain't letting you get in the car, fam, and driving nowhere. Okay, you gotta buy it. A lot of times where it just you see the car just driving down like a little corridor or whatever. That's it. You know, some car auctions, they don't even let you come inside the vehicle and look or anything. Check the hood or nothing, right? So typical, what I'm saying is like you go to a car lot, you buy a car from a private owner. They typically will let you with them in the car, or they'll drive the car and show you how it drives around the block or down the street, because you want to hear that, because you want to get in the car and see how it drives, see how hear any noises, basically hear if the transmission disengages. What I mean by the transmission disengaging, the car basically will slip a gear. If you hear a slippage, that's an indication that it's possible wear and tear on the transmission leakage. Linkage. 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 So if you hear a slip or even feel it, because the motion will be basically, it'll kind of be like, it'll like buck, like the car will buck, right, like a horse. That is an indication that and then also if you hear winding, like you hear like the car just kind of disengages, and you hear it whine like that's an indication that the transmission is on its way out. Okay, this is from experience. This is from over 25 years of experience with cars. So if, let's just say, you're a car buff like me, and I mean, the thing about it is, the worst kind of car you could buy is a car that has a bad engine and a trans. And I'll be honest with you, buying a car itself with any of the two, or even one or the other, is really, really bad. Okay, because a lot of times engines and trans, like for me, I'm just say this: I've never replaced the engine. I repeat, I have never went through a engine overhaul. Okay, and I know how to work on cars, but I've never replaced the transmission nor an engine. I never did an engine overhaul. I'm not a thorough seasoned mechanic like that. Nor do I think I want to even be involved like that. I mean, I would have to have somebody show me how to do it, or have to see them do it. And I'm not even really comfortable with even going through matters like that, because that stuff, man, it goes into things that I don't necessarily kind of want to go into. I mean, I repair computers like that. I rebuild computers. I mean, I let other people that deal with stuff, I let them deal with that type of stuff. I got, your time and trying to deal with stuff, man, is more important than trying to like do everything yourself. So I typically go to a mechanic, a seasoned mechanic, to go do any engine repairs or any transmission work. I did have transmission replaced before. Actually, not replaced, repaired. I had a 1994 Toyota Camry. I bought it for about $400, and the transmission went out about a month later, month or 2 months later, maybe about no more than about 2-3 months, right before I met my ex-wife. Literally, I remember going over to her apartment, and my transmission went out, and it was like I was able to make it home, but it was winding down on me, and I was almost stranded. And basically, I ended up having to get the transmission repaired. Had to take the bus and the train to get to work for a couple weeks, and then I got the transmission repaired. My uncle loaned me the money. I paid him back, and it was about $1,500, and they basically refurbished the transmission. I've heard some people say that you shouldn't do that. You should never refurbish a transmission. And my thing to that is, I don't think that that's not a bad idea. When I got my transmission refurbished, right, repaired, I didn't get it replaced with another transmission. I just got it refurbished. I didn't have any problems with the transmission. I had other problems with the car because I was trying to do everything as far as, it's certain limits on certain cars, what you can and can't upgrade and stuff like that. But I had problems when I tried on that particular vehicle, the 1994 Toyota Camry, which is one of the best cars, I would have to say, in the world. You get a Toyota Camry, I mean, that is like the best, one of the best cars that you can possibly get for your money, longevity, performance. I mean, those cars, I always look for Toyota Camrys. I repeat, I always look for Toyota Camrys because Toyota Camrys are money. And what I mean by that is they're reliable, they can last damn near forever. Okay. I remember I had one of my third cars that I've ever had was my mother's car she gave me. It was an 87 Toyota Camry. I had it when I was away at college in 1999. And man, that thing, I basically went back and forth from Urbana-Champaign to Chicago, back and forth, man. I didn't have hardly any problems. I got some work done on the front end because it was messed up really bad. But that car, man, I went all over the place, man. My friend, he was on campus at Northern Illinois University. I used to go kick it with him, and I would go to Peoria to it was some chicks that lived out there. One of my friends, we went out there. Um, Man, where else did I go with that car, man? I went all over Southern Illinois, and oh man, I took one guy to from Chicago to Madison, Wisconsin. Man, I went all over the place in that car, man. That car was money, cash money. Man, I remember I had some of the guys from the in 1999, one of the guys that played, he was from Alabama. He played on the Illinois basketball team, U of I basketball team. We was out going to the frat houses, going to the parties and stuff, man. And I was like, damn, man, it's amazing, man. Y'all want to kick it with me in this old ass beat up car, man. Y'all like, damn near about to go to the NBA, man. You want to kick? I felt real honored that they wanted to kick it with me, because I had a car, man. A lot of even college students, they didn't even have no car, man. Yeah, man, I went all over the place in that car, man. But yeah, you want to definitely, check those things out, and then you also want to check the steering. Okay, so let me repeat, because I got a lot of car stories. Okay, so the thing is like I said, you want to check to see if there's any leaking. You want to check if the car starts. You want to check basically the actual engine, how the engine sounds. The quieter, the better. Okay, some cars that like I just bought a V8 pickup truck, Dodge pickup truck. Man, that engine is loud, man. It's gonna be that way. I mean, it's an old car, engine is very loud. That's normal. But the car drives and everything. But the thing is, you definitely want to check the engine, and then after you check the engine, like I say, you want to check to see if there's any leaks, and then after that, you want to drive the actual vehicle, feel how the steering is, the suspension system, and also see if there's any transmission slips. Another thing is, if you live in a hot climate, or even just for purposes of negotiation, you want to basically find out if the AC and the heat works. Okay, I repeat, you want to warm up the car enough to find out if the AC works or the heat works. The reason why is mainly those components that are involved with the heating in the car. I'm gonna tell you, it's very, very expensive to fix the havoc inside of a car. Okay, I repeat that. It's very, very expensive to fix an AC unit in a car, and also any type of heating apparatuses, such as maybe a heating condenser, or anything related to the heating and air conditioning in the car. Very, very expensive to fix. Okay, so if you find out the car, the heating and the air conditioning doesn't work, I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy it, but you definitely want to write that down. Now, I'm going to say this. You probably want to bring a notepad when you're going to go check for a car. Okay? What that does is that basically the person that's selling you the car, they know you mean business. Okay? And then you writing down every imperfection of that car. And then if you really want to buy that car, after everything is said and done, you want to basically say, all right, well, I know you said blah, blah, blah. Or let's just say, I know you said $1,000, but did you know all of these things were messed up in this car? Because you told me that blah, 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 blah. Like you told me, like, you know how everybody sells their car and nothing is wrong with it. You know, it's just basically good to go. It's like a certified used car that they have already checked. Most of the times, like 9 out of 10 times, or you could even say 9.9 times percent of you know times that people sell their car, they don't list all of the things like the broke genius does when he sells his cars. Because the thing is, if you let people know what they're getting, they can't come back to you and do anything wrong to you. Because when you selling people cars and you selling people houses, you're messing with people's livelihoods. And if you don't disclose what's wrong with that vehicle, or you don't sell them a superior vehicle and then stand on it, they're going to be coming back to you. And especially if you're getting into car flipping or whatever, car selling or whatever, these people are going to come back and they're going to bring all the smoke. Okay. I mean, you talking about thousands of dollars, talking about somebody's livelihood, them being able to get back and forth to work and go drop their children off at daycare and at school and everything else, and that car ain't working, and you told them it was good to go, okay, and they know exactly where you live and everything. Trust and believe, you better be able to handle everything that's gonna come to you when you living like when you were conducting business matters like that. So that's why I disclose any imperfections that's involved in the vehicle, because it's like, basically I want people to know what they're getting. Now, most people don't conduct their business like that, and that's them. And you just basically, you bring the pen and pad, they can't say, all right, well, yeah, they got to say like, oh, you know what, I didn't know or whatever. Well, here's the deal. Okay. That being said, doesn't matter. Don't dwell on whatever they saying. Okay. Basically, you give them a negotiated price that's lower than $1,000. You like, okay, basically, this car is leaking fluids. And then I also noticed that the heat does not come on. That's going to cost some money to get those things fixed. So are you willing to, what are you willing to take off of this vehicle? Because, like I said, I didn't know that this was, any problems. You said it was good on your advertisement. Okay, what are you willing to take off of this price? And if they're like hard nosed about it and you just, don't want to be involved, okay, that being said, you walk away. You're going to have to walk away from a lot of things in life. And that might be your time to walk away. Now, if you want the vehicle, if it's like, for example, if I found a 2007, or let's just say 2006 Dodge Charger, and it was $1,000, and the car was leaking fluids, it was also the heating and air didn't work, I wouldn't even care about negotiations as far as writing down anything, because that car, I'll just buy it, because that car is one of the hottest cars. It's so hot that I'm in Chicago right now. They trying to steal a lot of people's cars that got Dodge Chargers, but primarily the brand new ones and the HELLCATs. So with that being said, a car like that, yeah, I might be willing to just give them $1,000 because, you know, pretty much that car, I could probably work with it and I'll make some money off of it. You know, that's a high car. I mean, I'll fix it up, possibly resell it. You know what I'm saying? I could, make some money off of it. Now, I mean, if it's like, let's just say a Pontiac G6, no, I'm not gonna give you $1,000 for it because that, I mean, it's not really a very desirable car. And then, all of these things that's gonna cost to fix it up, it's not gonna be worth it. Then if they don't negotiate, because I'm gonna be talking about negotiation, then basically I'm gonna have to walk away because that'll be a no-go. Now that being said, I'm gonna also get into, before I start talking about cars, about basically I'm gonna list some of my favorite auto manufacturers, foreign and domestic. When you already have a car, some things you want to do is basically, for long engine life, you want to, between oil changes, you want to put in what is called oil treatment. Okay, basically what oil treatment is like real thick jelly type, basically lubricant, oil lubricant. It kind of looks like some thick Vaseline type like mixture. It looks very thick. It's not nothing but oil. Is just very, very thick and concentrated. You're going to want to put this in your car, in your engine, at least twice a year, basically in between seasons. If you're in a particular area where it gets cold, it gets like wintertime, such as like anywhere above, Missouri, or anywhere up in the Midwest and Atlantic, upper Atlantic, mid-Atlantic, you want to basically put some oil treatment in before, it starts getting cold, like right around fall. And then you want to put some more in when you do another oil change right before it starts getting warm again in the spring. So what that does is it gets your car more lubricant to divert the friction that's going to be done with the viscosity of the oil, basically moving up and down with the pistons. You're going to give it an extra layer of lubricant so it'll stop the wear and tear of the vehicle. Okay, so that's what another tip for, as far as to get a longer engine life. Now, another thing that you can do is make sure you get proper tire changes. When you get a tire change, you want to make sure that your suspension is optimal. If you have the money, you want to make sure you get your wheel alignments, and they will tell you when you get the wheel alignments that, okay, your tie rod is out, your ball joint is out. Okay, you need a new axle. This is really, really bad. You need, tie rods and ball joints. And when you get those installed, you'll have a tighter performance on your steering, and, you have a good alignment, and, basically you don't have to worry about, drifting off and going into another lane and all of that type of stuff. And you also want to get good tires, and as far as a transmission, basically the transmission should be fine. You want to check your fluids. Modern cars, they kind of tell you when the fluids are low. They have a meter level in the actual transmission, so it lets you know if it gets low. If it gets low, definitely want to check that out. Anything engine related, if something pops up, check engine. you want to definitely check your you want to have a basically what is called is a car diagnostic tool. So once you if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you want to get you a car diagnostic tool to read your car to let it tell you what's wrong with the vehicle. Now, if you want to just take it in the shop, whatever shop you have, just take it in the shop and let them read it and tell you what's going on with your car. You don't want to overlook those things. So, with that out the way, I'm gonna talk about a couple of brands that basically I like. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and basically talk about some domestics. Okay, right now, as far as how the car industry is right now, it is people buying cars, but it's kind of very similar to real estate. The people that have money are buying a lot of different car deals because basically driving a car is kind of like it's like a boredom thing, and people are trying to get the best car for their buck. And then another thing is as far as is concerned with these cars that being stolen in Chicago. Okay, you know, I've worked security and private investigating and stuff like that for companies that are into private investigating. Obviously, there's a chop shop that's paying top dollar. Okay, I mean, obviously, there's a chop shop that's paying top dollar. If people stealing cars, you got to think, where are they doing it? Where are they taking these cars? Well, they sell these cars overseas. They sell the parts. They try to do all kinds of things, but they basically sell them to people to get some money so they can, send them overseas or all kind of other, underworld activities with these cars. So that's what's going on, basically. I mean, I don't know, maybe sometimes the actual police, they need help, so they actually will, what I'll do is because I found something that actually shows all of these cars. I'm just gonna just talk about it, basically talk about some of the brands that I like and why I like them, okay, and why I look for them, and talk about cars that I've also had too. So just to talk about the domestics first, the top domestic car company that I like in America, hands down, is Chevrolet. Okay, the Chevys that I had some heavy Chevys, some messed up Chevys, but I have to say, like, I've had a few Impalas. The Impalas, it's one of those cars that I primarily like. Okay, I've never had a Jeep. I've never had a GMC. My ex-wife had a Buick that I drove, but I mean, I really wasn't. I never really had a Buick, but I always I wanted a Buick Rendezvous, and I never got one of those. I just got a Ram pickup truck for the first time. That's my first Dodge vehicle. Okay, I got a Dodge Ram pickup truck. I've never owned any Dodges or Chryslers or anything like that. I like Cadillac as well as far as the luxury car brands. Okay, but we're gonna go back up to also the other companies. So the only thing that's left is Ford. Now I've had quite a few Fords. I have to say I've had a lot of problems. I had a Ford Mustang for almost 7 years, And man, I was in that car, man. I did everything to that car because damn near except the engine and the trans, I done did all kind of work on that car, man. I had so many Fords because Fords are a long time ago. I don't know if it is still the case, but you can get a Ford for pretty cheap. Okay, cheap. It tend to be like as far as used cars, because a lot of times people already know what the game is with Fords. And then Mercuries, you still got a lot of old Mercuries hanging around because about 2 years ago, I bought a 2001 Mercury Sable. Okay, and I bought that one for about $1,000. Okay, now that thing leaked all kind of fluids. It smelled when as soon as you got in it, it just was like a stinky smell. And I mean, it stunk like that all up until I sold the car, you know. And it was just one of those cars that just get you off of the road, get you to point A to point B, right? Now, I've had Mustang 2000. I had a 2000 Mustang. I had and that was the one I had for 7 years. I had my first car was a Ford Escort, 1986. I bought it when I was 16. I had no license, no insurance. We know how that worked. My father forced me to sell that car, okay, because I bought it with no license and insurance. I was hard headed, man. I just did what I wanted to a lot of times. But that was my first car, and then I had Ford Mustang. I had the Mercury Sable 2000. I had that 2 years ago, and another car. I had a Ford Econoline, a 1994 Ford Econoline, and that sucker, man, that thing, I had so many problems with that, man. I had to just end up scrapping that because it needed so much work. But that thing was so big. It was like a Econoline 350 or something like that, man. That thing, you could put another small car in that cargo van, man. You could just drive around and just pick up stuff, man, in that cargo van. You know, I don't like to tell. I'm kind of dark as far as the news stories, but it's some people that were driving around snatching up young girls and stuff and kidnapping young girls, and they were spotted to be in a cargo van. Now, cargo vans have a lot of room. They're primarily used for moving in commercial trucks to fit parts and stuff in. You could drive around and work on things, and you'll have your entire machine shop inside your truck, and then also haul stuff, right? So that was what it was designed for. But you could just imagine what you could do inside the car. I mean, inside the truck van, because it was just so huge. It has so much room. A friend of mine, he's got a construction business, and he's into all kind of stuff, and he's got these big old Dodge Express vans. And you could just stand up inside the van. Well, that Ford Econoline was like that. You could stand up in it, But yeah, man, I've had quite a few Fords. I'm trying to think of another Ford that I've had other than, oh yeah, I had a 1994 Mercury Cougar, and that was a V8 dual pipe 4.6 engine. That was a pretty sharp vehicle as well. That vehicle, I end up giving it to my sister, and then she dogged it out, and then next thing you know, it was found on the side of the road, and then somebody stole that, towed it away. But yeah, I've had quite a few Fords. You know, Chevys. I've had about 3 Chevy Impalas from years 2005 to 2003, 2001. Uh, Shoot, what else? I had a 1986 Monte Carlo. That was one of the cars that I regret because I was kind of going through a lot of things, a lot of changes, and man, I ended up parking that car somewhere, and they towed that sucker away, man. And I just was like, wow, you know, I might have to get one of those just to, you know, I actually I plan on having a big, like maybe like warehouse or somewhere in a rural area or somewhere, and I'm just gonna have all my cars, man. I'm gonna be like a oil Arabian oil businessman, man. I'm gonna have me a big ass warehouse with all the cars, you know, that I ever wanted or that I like, and I'm just gonna have them there. And I might even have another location, and then just have a whole bunch of other cars. Because man, yeah, I'm very much a car enthusiast. I definitely see myself being a car collector in my future. I mean, it's just something that I want to do, you know. Now, I'm going to go into the foreigns, okay? And I'm going to tell you some of my favorites, foreign cars. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to talk about Ford. Now, Ford is changing their, you know, they're trying to change up, you know, the way they do things, right? And then they got some innovation. Ford has a very good company, okay? Ford, as far as I know, there's a manufacturing facility not too far from me in Chicago. It's a few people I know that work for Ford. They assemble cars there. Okay, Ford itself is a very innovative company. Okay, trust and believe. It hasn't caught on yet, but you best believe when all it takes is some celebrities or some other people to start, you know, doing some things, making some moves. They start pushing those electric hybrid or electric Mustangs, and then they got the Mustang. You know what? I'm gonna look into it because I really haven't really looked into it. I've been very busy, and I definitely don't have no money to buy no Mustangs, let alone no electric Mustangs. So we're gonna take a look at them because one of the things that I like about Ford is the Mustang. Okay, so we're gonna look into it. Okay, we're gonna look into when these came out, what's going on with them, if they already came out. We're gonna see what they're talking about. Okay, so this article right here is from 7 days ago. We're gonna talk about this because, you know, people watch my channel, and then next thing you know, stuff happens. Like Ford stock goes up. So this here is the electric Mustang. I'm going a little bit too fast. I'm gonna slow down for you guys and gals. This is the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. Okay. You know, I'm not gonna read this article, but I'm just trying to pick out what they're talking about with it. They're saying it's got 333 horses. That is pretty fast. The suggested retail price is $59,000. Okay. You know, they talking about how it drives. They said it's impressive. You know, and yeah, I mean, this is something to this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am very much a car enthusiast, and this is like basically kind of like a Lamborghini truck. Like, this is an American Lamborghini truck to me, because I've had a Mustang, and I'm a Mustang enthusiast as well, because here's the thing about Mustangs. Once you have a Mustang, there's so many, like, groups and forums and parts you can get for it to customize it, body kits, superchargers, um, engine swaps you can do. I mean, it's a world within itself. So I'm a Mustang guy. Everybody that know me personally, they know I'm a Mustang guy. I've had a Mustang, for a long time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one of the videos of one of the thumbnails of me and my Mustang. Basically this right here, to me, this is a very cheap and very even better, like, if you like, low key kind of like Lamborghini truck. I mean, it kind of has that feel, like, because it's just so crazy. Like, when I'm looking at this, I mean, I'm kind of numb because, for whatever reason, I mean, it's like this crazy. Like, I'm in 2020 and I'm seeing the future. And if this was like around 10, 20 years ago, people would be going bananas over this. But people are so privileged now. They got so much tech, so much car tech. They haven't even caught on to the electric Mustang. I mean, okay, because, like, basically, this is a freaking one Mustang truck, and it's freaking electric, and it's a 4-door. Okay, typically Mustangs for, like, I don't know, 50 years, they ain't have no damn second of 4 doors. Okay, now that 4-door option did recently come about, I think like the last 3 or 4 years. Okay, but this is a freaking a Mustang truck, and it's electric. So it's like you're spoiled. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Ford, shout out to Ford, it's only $59,000. To me, this car, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm just being real. It's $100,000 car, in my opinion. As far as how I'm looking at it, as far as, like, okay, for example, I'm gonna be real here. When I had my Mustang, the Mustang that I really want, that I still want today, was the Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. The Shelby GT500 was priced at what they're talking about for this car. And it was just basically a V8 souped up Ford Mustang that basically did about 500 horses. Okay. Some people said that they the car, they had to redesign a lot of the Mustangs because base model Dodge Chargers were eating up Mustang, like V8 Mustangs, 5.0 Mustangs, 4.9 engine Mustangs, basically GT Mustangs. Regular Dodge Chargers was eating them up. They had to redesign the Mustang to beef it up because the Dodge Chargers was eating it up. Like a base model Dodge Charger was tearing off just like GT Mustangs, which a GT, if you don't know about Mustangs, is the premium version of the Mustang. Okay, more horsepower, basically more bang for your buck. But this is a freaking electric truck, electric Mustang at that. It's a freaking, like, I mean, I don't really have a lot of money and everything like that, but this shit is like, I mean, it's really a big deal to me. I mean, I know it's because I'm probably a Mustang enthusiast, but I believe this is very, very, like, it's like kind of like it's like you buying a prototype. It's almost like a prototype. Like, I mean, the thing about it is, you don't know what because every car has like certain problems to it that they have to like readjust, and they have to put recalls in and stuff like that. But that's definitely something that I'm definitely going to try to watch. Now, I'm going to go to, I'm going to look into this, see what's going on with it, because I don't know if this is out already. Let me just go to Auto Trader and see if you could just buy one of these. Like, are these on the lot? I'm going to take you into the world of what I look for when I try to buy a car. So I'm kind of curious with this. So I'm going to put in basically, a freaking Mustang, and yeah, we're gonna see what they have, because I'm trying to see if this is if this on the market, or this just doesn't come out to 2021. Okay, we're gonna look at the most expensive, see what's going on. Let's see here. Okay, so I guess it just you know what? Let me see here. This is I'm sure it's more. Okay, so that's the brand new Shelby GT500. Okay, so this is one of the cars that I always liked, but I don't see it, so I guess it doesn't come on the market. So that makes sense. So what's gonna happen is, this is what's gonna happen. All the cool kids with all the money, they gonna start buying this next year. Mark my words. Now, this gives me some opportunity, because I'm kind of thinking about this as also a move to buy Ford stock. This is not on the market as I can see. Next year it's going to be on the market. The cool kids with the pocketbooks, they're going to be buying this. Mark my word. They're going to be buying this car. Because one thing I will say, a lot of stuff that I like, a whole bunch of people like what I like. Okay, they have very good designers. Ford, see, one thing about Ford, I watched a documentary. They have some very good artists that draw up the specs of the build, of the mold, of the body style, to make it look all of this curvature and this, body frame that they have. I mean, they have some very good, they have a very good R&D department, okay? And they also have some very good designers, okay? Chevy does too, but Ford does as well. Mark my word, the cool kids are gonna be trying to buy this. I'm trying to be one. They're gonna be trying, but I ain't gonna get no car note trying to just buy no damn electric SUV Mustang. But I'm an optimist. Let's say I can have a breakout year. I'm trying to buy one of these. If next year, this will be something that I would want to buy, because I might not be able to buy a Lamborghini truck, but for 60 grand, I could probably afford one of these if I reach a certain level. But mark my word, I think the cool kids are gonna be wanting to buy this with the pocketbook. And then also you got the cool kids that want to get car notes. So yeah, Ford stock, yeah, it's on notice. So yeah, that's very interesting. I'm gonna go back to the car brands, and I'm gonna talk about some of the luxury car brands, because we got other stuff out the way. We're gonna talk about some of the luxury American brands. Okay. Now, I've never had a Lincoln or a Cadillac, or any of the luxury Chrysler. Like I said, I've never had a Dodge or anything like that. Now, I did buy a Cadillac at the auction, but I mean, something happened and I couldn't get it out. And, I wanted to get one because my grandfather always had Cadillacs, and I wanted a Cadillac. I still want a Cadillac to this day. One of the fastest cars, actually, that I've ever heard, and smoothest cars, drive past me was a Cadillac. It was a CTS. That car went so fast. I was in my Mustang. I was about actually I was going to get over in the right lane. Man, that car was going so fast. It was like a rocket went past me. Okay. One thing people don't know about, Cadillacs and GMs. Somebody told me that they put Corvette engines in Cadillacs. I don't know the truth of that, but them engines in them Cadillacs, man, are very, very, very fast. Now, I like Lincolns too. My uncle actually, he likes Lincolns. He's had one back in the 80s. He loves Lincolns, but he don't. He fell off. I mean, he don't even. I showed him one Lincoln that was like very good price. He's so damn freaking cheap. He didn't want to buy it. But anyway, Lincoln, what they did in the last 10 years, they did something good. Okay, the Ford Lincoln Group or whatever, let's just call it. They did a very good job with remarketing the Lincoln brand, because basically what they did was they changed the whole look of Lincoln cars. Okay, they changed how they looked. They changed the style. I mean, they changed a lot of actually just overall how they look. Now, one thing I will say, this is one of their all-star vehicles that they came out with. They were the first luxury car company to come out with a truck, Lincoln Navigator. Well, actually, no, it was Range Rover and Land Rover, I believe. But as far as Americans, Lincoln was the first to strike. Okay, then Cadillac. I ain't even gotta say nothing, but Cadillac took it over. Okay, once Lincoln Navigators, that was the man back in like 90s, 97, 98. Man, Lincoln's was you was the man if you had a Lincoln Navigator. Okay, then the Cadillac was like, oh, okay, touche. They said, okay, well, you ain't said nothing but a word. Then they came out with the Cadillac Escalade, and then Ludacris, and I mean, Cadillac trucks and all that. I mean, he just, took that one song and blew up, and then everybody I mean, I don't know if Ludacris got any money from Cadillac, but that one song, I don't know I forgot the name of it, but he was literally talking about his Cadillac truck in the song. And I mean, that one number free advertising for Chevrolet, because basically that's what cats was trying to go get. They was pumped up, man. Some things about commercials and stuff like that, it does work. And that wasn't nothing but a Cadillac truck commercial. I mean, basically, after people start playing that video and listening to it on the radio, they like, man, I want me to go get a Cadillac Escalade, and then a lot of people actually did go get one. It was a favorite car for a lot of people. One of my friends, he got him he went to go get a Cadillac truck, a Cadillac Escalade. Me, I wasn't into them. I like Lincoln Navigators, but the thing about it is, I really didn't care, because at the end of the day, I'm like, well, they ain't do nothing but it's just a Suburban. I mean, it's a Suburban basically. You know what I'm saying? Or a Jeep or a Tahoe that with a Cadillac emblem on it. And then the Lincoln Navigator is the same thing. It's like the Lincoln Navigator and the Expedition, and I'll talk about that too. The crossovers, because a lot of cars are just crossovers. Such as like basically you have Hondas. Honda is very similar. It's the same car brand as Acura. Okay, so a lot of their cars are crossover vehicles, such as like their parts are interchangeable, stuff like that. Like for example, like Nissan's luxury brand is Xfinity. So a lot of their vehicles are crossovers. So the body style is Xfinity, but the engine is very similar to, you know, a Nissan engine. Okay. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's that. But yeah, Lincoln itself, they changed their whole look and their designs of their cars. Very cool. And then they have that actor that actually played in the movie Lincoln. I forgot his name, but he's in the marketing, in the commercials for the Lincoln. And yeah, very cool marketing, very cool you know, design changes. The cars are pretty good, you know. And yeah, I mean, one thing about the American cars, the domestic cars, they had to step their game up because the foreigners, which I'm going to be talking about next, was kicking their tail. Okay, kicking their tail. Now, here's the thing. I'll talk about Volkswagen, but I've never owned a Volkswagen. Okay, I've never owned any Volkswagen. My ex-wife, she had what kind of car was that? Let me see here. She had, they're talking about different, you know, I'm trying to look for Volkswagen cars. I'm not trying to actually look at the brand, but she had, I'm trying to think of that car that she had. It was the one of their, let me put in Volkswagen. I'll talk about Volkswagen a little bit. But she had the little like small car that they had. So yeah, she had the Jetta, okay? Now, the thing about it is Volkswagens are very, very good cars, okay? You know, it's no big deal. Like that whole diesel scam thing, yeah, it was a big deal. They had to pay a lot of money. It was very embarrassing. But Volkswagens are still good cars, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about Volkswagen. I never owned one, but okay, yeah. And they're a very rich company. Volkswagen actually owns a lot of brands, car brand groups, okay? They literally look at all of the car companies they own. Audi, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Porsche, and all these other cars that I'm quite sure are luxury and, you know, expensive. Okay. Yeah, and it was found by Adolf Hitler. But yeah, Japan, you know, Japan pretty much got this Toyota, and yeah, they make very, very good cars. This is the number one car company in America, in the world, Toyota, and also Lexus, which is their crossover company, which is Lexus. Okay, they you know, I've had like 2 Camrys. I've had even a Sentra. Okay, Toyota Sentra. You know, yeah, I had quite a bit of Fords. Now, German Daimler Group, which is basically it. You know, it was once Mercedes Benz, and I'll just go to Mercedes Benz. Basically, I've had 3 Mercedes Benzes. I've had first Mercedes Benz I had was a 1992 Mercedes 300E. Okay. Then I had a Mercedes E430, and right now I got an ML350. Okay. Mercedes are like this dude I used to know. His father was a football coach. He said, Mercedes for the ladies, Benz for the friends. I mean, you know, basically, a lot of people like Mercedes. Okay, they just do. I mean, a lot of rap videos, a lot of rappers, they talk about Mercedes. There's all kind of songs about Mercedes, so on and so forth. Okay, Very, very good cars, very superior engineering. Germany has some very, very good engineers, very good innovation. The Mercedes itself is a very good company, very good superior engineering in their vehicles. Okay. Now I'm gonna also bring up BMW. I've never owned a BMW. Okay. I've never owned a BMW. I want one, but I've never owned a BMW. From what I hear about BMWs, is basically it's also a German car that they're just like the Mercedes, but people say that the BMW is actually faster than the Mercedes. But I don't know. I'm not that much into cars, but some people are more BMW type of guys or girls. So yeah, with that being said, I mean, I'm pretty sure BMWs are very good cars, okay? They're quite expensive. I think from what I know about BMWs, from what I've been told, BMWs are more let's just say repair happy. A lot of people I've heard had a lot of problems getting their BMW repaired. So they're kind of more prone to needing repair versus the Mercedes. I'm throwing that out there. Please, car enthusiasts, come in, just, jump into my comment section once this video posts. Clarify anything that I said is incorrect. Okay. This is an educational video, nonetheless. I mean, car enthusiasts, I'm calling all car enthusiasts, mechanics, ex-mechanics, all that. Tell me anything that I missed, or that I was incorrect about. I'm not one of them dudes that's gonna you ain't gotta worry about no blowback or, why did you comment on my video? I do not. I'm an old school YouTuber. I respect all comments as long as they ain't no porn or anything related to anything other than the topic of the freaking discussion of the video, and it's respectful. I welcome your comment. But that's what I was told as far as my observation. The BMWs are more repair prone. Okay. Now I'm gonna also go into Audi. Okay, Audi is in the same company group, I believe, as Volkswagen. Yeah, they're part of Volkswagen Group. And I've never owned an Audi. I really don't know that much about Audi, okay? From what all of these cars, what I will say is with foreign cars, primarily Audis, German cars, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Mercedes. One thing about these cars, and most people know that already has had one, when it breaks down, it's very, very costly to fix. That's one thing I will tell you about foreign cars. They be prepared to have a little bit more pocketbook money when you have a foreign car, because when they break down, they're expensive to fix. Okay, that's just a forewarning. All cars are expensive to fix, but foreign cars, German cars, are expensive to fix. And then another thing, you can't take your German car or Japanese car to anybody to fix. You have to take them to foreign body shops and mechanic shops. You will have a hard time taking your foreign car, your Audi or BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, to go to Ray Ray's body shop or repair shop, because a lot of repair shops, they're only used to working on domestic vehicles, and then they might not even be good with that, and they'll mess your car up, and then next thing you know, man, I mean, what the hell did you just do to my car? You made it actually worse than what it was before I got it in here. And it's like, because you went to the wrong shop. I'm going to tell you, when you're working with German cars, you want to look for this company here, this brand here. Okay, Bosch. Okay, yeah. When you see this Bosch logo, when you drive by a mechanic shop, an auto shop, and you see this emblem here, Bosch, that is a sign that they work on German cars. Okay, like I say, correct me if I'm wrong in the end of this video if I'm wrong, but this is a symbol that they work on German cars primarily. Now, the rule of thumb is when you see, basically, you want to ideally find a shop that all they work on is foreign cars. You don't want to just go to a place where they do foreign and domestic unless you know the guy is good. If you knows that he knows how to work on cars, he knows how to work on Americans or domestics. I mean, foreigns. So the thing is, though, you want to just go to a place where they are specialized and working on foreign cars. I ain't even got to the exotics because, I mean, the exotics, you have to go to an exotic place, exotic car shop to get your, like, if you got a Lamborghini, you got, really, to be honest, I mean, a lot of times, foreign cars are considered exotics too. You know, Mercedes, Porsche, BMW. I mean, a lot of those, like once you get to, for example, for Mercedes, you got the M5. Okay, I mean not Mercedes, but the BMW is the M5. But with Mercedes is AMG. Okay, this is their like top of the line muscle car. When you get like a AMG model, one of these, like, let's see here, like one of these used cars here, and it breaks down on you or something happen, you want to take it to an exotic place, an exotic car place, because they primarily are known for working on expensive vehicles. They have some high level insurance and whatnot. And then they also, they're going to make sure you have exceptional service. Now, here's the thing. It's a YouTuber. He said that in order to have a Mercedes and a BMW or any car like that, you need to be a millionaire. One thing I'll tell you is I don't really like to talk about other YouTubers, but it's people, man, that's old as hell, and then they just say anything. Now, it's also young people to say anything, but that's a goddamn lie. I am broke as hell, and I have a Mercedes Benz, and I drive it every day. Okay, I'm not nowhere near a millionaire, unfortunately. I'm trying every day, but that is not true. Now, here's the thing. It does help if you're a car enthusiast slash novice mechanic, such as myself. I changed my own oil on my Mercedes truck. Now, if I would have took it somewhere else, it would have cost me like probably $200 to $100+ to change the oil. But I did it myself, okay? Now, I didn't save that much doing it myself, but the thing is, I did it because I just did not have the time to go take it anywhere and didn't want to take any time to go take it anywhere. So I just changed the oil myself. Now, another model with Mercedes, is BMW, and BMW has the M5, and that, pretty much the logo on this video, okay? Because I like to talk about the concept of basically working the morning shift, which is AM, and then pretty much the evening shift, which is like I call it 5 to midnight. So that those logos basically is that's what I use for that. So like anything like this is an M5, and it has like almost 600 horsepower. You want to take this to an exotic shop, because they got the insurance. They know how they work on these cars. They know a lot about them, and they're gonna be more expensive. But I will say this: when you get cars like this, you better have $50,000 to $100,000 in the bank account. You you got tens of thousands of dollars in the bank account, because these cars are, one, expensive to acquire, and then they are very, very expensive to fix up. And unless you know how to fix cars yourself, you're gonna be out of a lot of change trying to fix those once they break down, if they need any service. Now, I'm gonna talk about some of the exotics. I guess I'll get that out the way. One of my favorite exotics is Lamborghini. I mean, basically, I like Lambos. Okay, that's my favorite exotic. Okay, I mean, basically, like, this is one of my cars on my list of my millionaire savings plan. Like, this is it right here. You know, this is one of my millionaire savings plans goals. Like, this is like step 10 right here. Okay. So yeah, I like Lambos, the Lamborghini wing doors. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. But I have to say, I definitely like Ferrari too. Okay. I like Ferraris. Okay. I like the Raris or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I like the Italian exotic cars primarily. Okay. I like the German cars too. I mean, pretty much, man, it's kind of tripped out, but pretty much if you just look at World War II, basically the Axis, the enemies, they make some of the best cars in World War II. Okay. They had some very good engineering going on. Okay. And they, Italians, Japanese, Germans, they got, I guess they said, we lost the war, but we gonna win the car war, motherfuckers. And they did. So yeah, they got some very, very good cars. Very exotic, very expensive to acquire. And also, they said, shit, this website is so expensive. They said, man, you gotta subscribe, bro. But yeah, I mean, this is another favorite of mine. Now, here's the thing. Outside of that, I also like Alfa Romero. Okay. I like those too. You know what I'm saying? This is another car company a lot of people kind of sleep on, and I spelled it wrong. But I like these cars here, Alfa Romero. You know what I'm saying? These are like kind of lower tier cars that are exotic, but it doesn't cost that much. So we're gonna open up one of these puppies here and see. Like, you can see right here, this is 35K. People would think you're rich, but you just literally bought this for $35,000. Okay, this is an Alfa Romero. This, again, you will still have to take this to an exotic shop, because nobody hardly knows how to work on these. It's a very rare car, but it's not rare. It's like cheap rare. Okay, so something like this is like very, very cost friendly. A lot of people don't know about. Okay, another thing is, when it comes to cars, let me look at this as far as how many horsepower is this car. I'm kind of curious about this here. One thing about cars, they don't never put the horsepower. You always got to look for it. Okay, so it's only 526 horses. You know what? I'm not that happy with that. But anyway, I'm trying to think of another luxury exotic car that I actually like. I mean, yeah, I like Tesla. I like Teslas. Yeah, I like those. I mean, who doesn't like Teslas? I don't know. But the whole Bentleys and Rolls Royces and those, like, Rolls Royces and stuff. I like them, but they're not my preference. The reason why is because they're like old man rich cars. I'm not old. I'm not that old yet. I mean, I ain't old enough to be rocking I don't got enough gray hairs, man, to rock no Rolls Royce and no freaking Bentley. When I be looking at people in them, man, I'm like, man, that's like an old man car. That's an old man luxury car. Like they cool, but I ain't into that. I mean, I know they trying to make it like more youthful because they have trucks and all of that stuff. But it's like, man, nah, I'm not really into those cars yet. Like I think I'll be into them when I get about 60 years old. Like I don't want no Bentley or no Rolls Royce yet. Like I ain't old enough. You know, that's like something that I want to have when I go pick my grandkids up. When I go, because I'm older and I had children late. When I pick my daughter up from college, like I ain't ready to be rocking no Bentley and no Rolls Royce. Now, if someone laid it on my lap, yeah, but I'm not going out my way for no Bentleys and no Rolls Royces. Them old man cars, man. I look at them as old man cars. But other than that, I'm trying to think of another. I know I'm missing something. As far as the luxury cars. I know it's something that I'm missing. I'm trying to think of what I'm missing. Oh, Lexus. Yes. Now, Lexus ain't necessarily exotic cars, okay, but they do have some expensive cars too. I never owned a Lexus, but a Toyota Camry ain't nothing but a Lexus. Ain't nothing but a Lexus, man. I mean, the same engine as in a Toyota Camry is in a Lexus, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, Toyota and Lexus are the #1 car brands in the world right now. They, as far as reviews, overall quality, performance, reliability, affordability, Toyota and Lexus is like they dropped the mic. They got the best cars right now. And I used to tell people for years, for over almost 20 years, Japanese make the best vehicles, hands down. Hands down. They got the best vehicles as far as, man, I ain't trying to bring the tinfoil hat crew, but man, I've heard, man, that they got space alien technology in their vehicles, man. I mean, you know what? I don't know, man, but they got some good cars, man. I mean, very, very good cars. I've never owned one because they're primarily so expensive. Everybody wants one, okay? I mean, everybody want one. It's expensive. If I ain't got the money, I can't hang. I mean, they good vehicles, but the thing is like, I ain't really comfortable shelling out all that money. But a lot of people got them. A lot of people got them joints. But Lexus is definitely one of them jokers that I definitely be looking out for. But you got to be careful. It's just a crossover vehicle. Okay, a lot of their engines are basically the same engines that goes into Toyota. So basically, you got to ask yourself, do you want to spend a lot of money for this logo here? Because that's what you're buying, in a different body style and different just overall look inside the vehicle. You're paying for design and all kind of other stuff and a logo on a Toyota. Because I remember being in Japan when I was in the Navy, and the cars over there, they had a Toyota emblem, and they look just like the Lexus body styles that's over in America. Kind of tripped me out a little bit. But that is what I have. Let's see here. Got a comment. What's going on, Iori? This is a BMW guy. I believe that's what he said. Let me drop the link, man, because if you got something to say, man, because see, I've never owned a BMW, and I'm sure you probably had some other cars that I've never bought as well. You know, if you want to chop it up, you know, be my guest, because basically I want to hear about you know, what you think is the difference between a BMW and Mercedes, and then have you ever had a Mercedes to cross reference with the BMW's performance and whatnot? And then, you know, I gotta shout out to my Africans, man. You know, I definitely be looking at the African autos that they're producing in Africa. I mean, Ghana, they have a car company, a car brand. They make trucks. I don't know if they're able to be driven over here. I want to say they can be, but yeah, they have a luxury, uh, basically SUV in Ghana. Yeah, they got a car company. They got quite a few car companies all over the continent of Africa. They are making cars. Okay. You know, they don't just have, you know, bones in their noses running around like you see on TV. They actually have, you know, car companies. I mean, they're working with, you know, technology, and they're building cars over there. You know what I'm saying? They driving them, and I definitely would want to get one of those, man, to add to my car collection. You know what I'm saying? Because definitely, my father's from Ghana. Definitely a lot of pride with that, you know. So yeah, shout out to the Africans in their cars that they produce all over the continent. So and then yeah, I mean, when it comes to African Americans, I like to say we make the cars too, because you gotta think, man, who works in them auto plants, man, making those Chevys, Buicks, and Fords. That, you know, a lot of those are you know, black people in there, you know, working in there as well, making those. You know, one of my best friends in grammar school, in high school, his brother works for Ford. I mean, he literally he's been working there for you know, over 10 years, taking care of about all of 20 of his children, working at that Ford plant. He, you know, complains about the you know, wear and tear on his body, man, pushing out them Fords, man, pushing out them you know, Tauruses and all them other cars, man, right, you know, right in Chicago, man, working that shift, working them tough hours. It's a very high intense labor job, man. A lot of people don't know how it is working in an auto manufacturing plant. Very, very high intense. You sweat a lot. It takes a lot out of you because you're working on an assembly line. And yeah, man. I mean, my friend's brother, definitely, he works for Ford. And then one thing that's cool about working for Ford, you have the option to get a car basically just because you want it. You're like, all right, I want a car. All they're gonna do is just deduct the payment from your paycheck for the car. You can be like, all right, I mean, literally, oh, I want a Ford Mustang. All right, okay, and then they just set up, you know, the payments and everything, and basically just take it right out your check. And if, I guess, if whatever happens, if you don't work for the company anymore, they just, you know, bill you or whatever, convert it to you know, where they bill you every month like a car payment, and that's it, man. You work, and then you get a steep discount because you work for the auto manufacturer. You know what I'm saying? So you get like employee discounts and whatnot. So you literally yeah, they get it taken out of their check for the car. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about Henry Ford, he said, I want to pay my employees a very decent wage because I want them to also be able to afford to buy the car as well. You know what I'm saying? So, and another thing is, another, I have to point out, it was a black man that actually, he was one of the first inventors of the modern day car. He actually had a version of a car that it didn't have any motor in it, but it was very much the style that basically someone else took. It's rumored that Henry Ford took the idea and made the Model T with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking up his information too. Yeah, Frederick Patterson. Okay, Frederick Patterson. He was basically one of the first inventors of the modern day car that we speak of today. Okay, pretty much when you sitting at a traffic light, that's a black man that invented that traffic light. And then when you drive your car, the black man that invented the first car, literally, dead ass, not making it up. The link is in the chat there. But yeah, man, it definitely is a lot of history when it comes to America and cars. I mean, cars have been around for at least over 100 years so far. I mean, it literally built this country. Cars built this country as far as how they was able to move and haul stuff and carry things, and it just is the life and blood of this of the world. It actually is this country. And then basically cars and oil is synonymous with one another. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be talking more in detail about cars. Just look out for it. I'm also going to talk about the car business, how to buy cars, where I look to buy cars. What is a good deal or not. You can ask me some questions if you're thinking about buying a car, or you got some questions about a car that you might have purchased or whatever. I can give you a tip, see if it's worth it or not. But the thing is that yeah, I'm definitely trying to also. I have some endeavors to get into the car business in the near future. Once I get things settled with my house, I'm definitely going to be trying to get more into getting cars. I mean, I don't like to keep one car. I like to have at least two cars in case one car breaks down. Rule of thumb, I like to have at least two. And the most cars I had at one time, I think, was about three or four. About three cars. Yeah, about three cars. That was crazy because I lived in an apartment building, and it was three cars stacked on top of each other in one apartment, in one stall. But that was just ridiculous. But yeah, this is all I have. If anybody has any questions, definitely post it in the chat. I got the link there if anybody want to come up and talk, about the future of the car business or what's going on in the car business right now. One thing I will say that I mentioned previously months ago, there's been a lot of repos that already went down. Okay, I've said that, obviously people are not going to be able to pay for these cars. So a lot of people actually got their car repossessed already. And I'm seeing a lot of tow trucks. I'm seeing quite a bit of influx of tow trucks, basically looking to hook up cars, basically looking on the hunt for cars. Because one thing people don't know nowadays with modern vehicles, they have GPS units in the car. Okay, a lot of brand new cars, they already have like built-in GPS. So when you buy a car now, you used to be able to dodge the actual repo man and stuff like that. Man, I talked to a repo man a couple years back. He said modern day cars now, because they have GPS units in them, it's almost effort. They know exactly where you are, with the car. So, it's like if you're buying a car like the last 5 years, it's like, anywhere between 2015 and up, 9 times out of 10, it has a GPS unit in it. So you don't pay, they're going to find where the car is. And another thing is what people don't know about car loans and repossessions. It's not just the car company looking for you. Okay, when, like, for example, not car company, but the car loan company looking for you. Like, for example, let's say you're on the repo list for Ford Motor Credit, right? It's not just their team looking for the vehicle. What happens is, this is what I found out, right? The tow trucks have a camera unit on it. Don't remember the name of the technology, but it's very similar to police cars where they flash your license plate at millions of seconds and all of that other stuff, or whatever, like really, really fast. They scan all of these plates. And what they do is, these tow truck drivers, they literally drive around with these cameras, and they basically just try to see if there's a hit that comes up as this car being on the tow list. And what happens is, tow truck drivers they're literally like bounty hunters for cars. So if they drive around and they see a car on the basically the repo list, it's literally a national database of cars that are on the repo list. So when you drive around and you parked at a hotel and you like, oh, well, it's all good. Well, then a tow truck driver, he's going to check hotel lots, because usually people travel from all over. It doesn't matter if you're in Tennessee and you come to Ohio and you go visit a hotel and you already know that you're on the repo list. Doesn't matter, because all the tow truck drivers all across the country, they have a national repo list. As soon as they find any car that's on that repo list, they just automatically tow that car. And what happens is that when they tow it, they get compensated by whatever car loan company, whatever, that pretty much has the loan for that car. And the tow company automatically works with the car loan company so they can retrieve that vehicle and get compensated for it. That's what people don't know about that car repo business. But yeah, I don't see anybody else hopping on. This is definitely gonna be something I'm gonna do a lot more of. And yeah, you guys have a good rest of your night.